power behind it.
Bruno, what do we know about his opponent? There goes another clothesline.
Well, in all honesty, I can't say that I know that much about David Meltzer. I know this, that obviously he's not a veteran. He may have only a few years' experience. But unfortunately, when you put a man like...
Welcome to another episode of Newsstand versus Newsletter. I am your host, the future Hall of Famer, Scotty B. I'm going to bring in right now my co-host, Mr. Andrew. No last name needed. If you watch one of the other shows, he'll give his last name. Go through the whole thing. Don't worry about anything else. Just go through the whole thing until you find his last name. Look him up on Facebook. Make a friend request. If he doesn't accept it, make another profile to make another friend request. If he doesn't accept that, make another profile to make another friend request. If he doesn't accept that, go onto his friends list, add all of them, and then eventually go to request them. Because he's that popular, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Andrew, no last name needed, lives in British Columbia, Canada, in a city that people like. I was going to give your address, but I figured you might not like that. So how's the night going for Andrew? How's the night going for your team's losing? Your hockey team's losing, am I right?
Yeah, they are. It's funny because on a call where Scott and I spoke, had nothing to do with the show, but we were talking about our football teams and comparing their head-to-head records against other teams in the league. And I thought it would be neat to see Montreal's record against everybody. And
it's not.
This included like teams that are defunct; they're no longer in the league.
That'd be the whole podcast.
No, I'm not saying it. How many teams do you think have a winning record against the Habs?
I'd assume like the newer teams probably do because like the Habs really haven't been the hardcore win every time Habs since like the 90s. I don't know, 5 or 6.
2.
Really? Yeah, that makes sense. What teams are they?
Minnesota Wild and Ottawa Senators.
Newer teams. I mean, not too. Ottawa's been around since the 90s, but still newer to an extent. And then
Ottawa was also around way back in the day.
Yeah, did they count that in the record?
Yeah, like it had their records against the New York Americans, the Montreal Maroons, the Cleveland Barons, so on and so forth.
So my night consisted of my cat dislocating his arm. I don't call it an arm. Do you call that an arm on a cat? But his whole arm just went dislocated.
Leg.
I flipped the fuck out. I'm like, oh my god, my cat. My instinct was my cat's gonna die. Because if you see a cat I'm like, holy shit. I take him to the vet, bam, right back in, just like that. Oh, he's good. He's got like a little shirt on. And he doesn't even care. He's like he's sleeping right now. This shirt is like, fuck it, I'm alive. I don't care. But that was my night. So that was not a fun night. But it's all good now. We're in a good mood. We're gonna get through the pro wrestling. We're gonna start like we always do with the first off. The year we're doing is 1986. Which is awesome because I love 1986. Let me say something 1986. My guilty pleasure, and you know what it is.
Oh, my God. Mania 2.
Mania 2 is my guilty pleasure.
Oh, I hate that show.
Love it. It is garbage. It's just, man, there's something about... Because you know what it was? I watched it when I was very young. And I think it might have been the first Mania I actually ever seen.
It has so many flaws, though. Like, just even like on a production standpoint.
Oh, horrible! It's horrible. Like Jesse's all fucked up. He can't hear. He's echoing like crazy.
Well, yeah, Jesse's talking like he's got a microphone out to hear. Like,
yeah.
Well, you know we're not for this.
And Claire St. James Saturday, she was fucking awful. Oh no, George! No, George! No, George! No, George! I remember that vividly.
Yes, she was bad for that. But I'll take her over Kathy Lee Crosby, who. You'd have to like remind yourself she was a part of the show.
Yeah.
Because Elvira was at least horny, but Kathy Lee Crosby was just like, wow, my grandfather liked this.
Yeah. It's but I like it. It's fun. So we're gonna start with the year in sports, and I got I also have the stuff that's gonna come across here in a few minutes. So in the NFL, this is an interesting one. The number 1 overall pick in that draft was Bo Jackson to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, did you ever hear what happened there?
I didn't even know he was drafted by the Bucs.
He got drafted by the Bucs, but they fucked him. They let him come for a visit, but he wasn't allowed to. They told him that he was, and he got ineligible to play baseball for college for the rest of the year. So he basically told him, "I'll never play for you again. I'll never play for you."
Does.
They voted. They drafted him first overall, and he never played for them. Obviously, he went back in the draft the next year and played for the Raiders. And it's funny because he played baseball for the Royals, and they're Kansas City and Oakland, and that's some huge rivalry. So that's I put that in. That's kind of cool. Also, I want you to guess the best record in the NFL, and I'm going to give you one hint. It's more than one team.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it the 49ers and Bears?
You got one of them right. It was the Bears. The Giants, they both went 14-2. The Giants got the number 1 seed for best conference record. Guess the West. Fuck, I'm already fucking up my words. Guess the worst. The worst record.
Oh, the worst. Was it the Patriots?
No, it was the Buccaneers, 2-14.
Okay.
And then the Super Bowl was New York over Denver, 39-20. Don't remember that. I was too young. We'll get into that in a minute. So most valuable player, Lawrence Taylor. Coach of the year, Bill Parcells. Eric Dickerson got offensive player of the year. Lawrence Taylor got defensive player of the year. Ruben Mays got offensive rookie of the year. Leslie O'Neal got defensive. Joe Montana got comeback player of the year, which 86. I don't know what he did in 85. Not do that. Tommy Kramer, quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, also got comeback player of the year. Reggie Williams got man of the year, and Phil Simms got MVP of the Super Bowl. So we're gonna
at around this time, the only thing I knew about football was the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, the Battle Royal. The Battle Royal for wrestling purposes, right? Yeah, same here.
Well, no, also William Refrigerator Perry was a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, he talk about a guy
he was everywhere.
Like, if you want to do something, I like money. Just give it to me. I'll be anything. You want to go to your kid's birthday party for $100,000? I'm there. Major League Baseball, best record. Guess who it was?
Was it the Red Sox?
The Nye Mets, the New York Mets, 108-54. Guess the worst record.
Was it White Sox?
Pittsburgh Pirates, 64-98. The World Series, the Mets beat the Red Sox 4-3. I remember that because I remember seeing that as a kid. My mother, that whole Buckner thing. It was the year of the Buckner thing. My mother went batshit crazy.
How about it?
Yeah, it was not a good time. Also, through real quick. Let's see here. I just have go ahead.
I was just say, we gave Bill Buckner some tickets for WrestleMania, but he couldn't bend over and pick it up. Yeah. How about it?
Yeah, he got heat for it, man. Good for him. Yeah. Wade Boggs had the best batting average. Tim Raines in the National League had best batting average also. Jesse Barfield hit 40 home runs, which doesn't seem like a lot now. 40 in a year, that's like nothing now. Joe Carter for Cleveland, most RBIs. Mike Smith for Philadelphia, most RBIs. Roger Clemens got 24 wins, which is a lot. Best ERA, whatever. I'm not going to go through that. NBA, this is an interesting one. You must have seen this. Len Bias from the Boston Celtics died of cocaine overdose 2 days after he got drafted. Big deal there. After that, Michael Ray Richardson got a lifetime suspension. Several NBA players were suspended for violation. Okay, so obviously they went after the drugs. April 17th, 3 Phoenix Sun players, James Edwards, Jay Humphreys, and Grant, I cannot pronounce his last name, and 2 former players were indicted for cocaine trafficking at a popular Phoenix nightclub. First off, why are you trafficking cocaine when you're an NBA player? What kind of money are you looking at?
Well, I mean, this is the 80s, and if you're not Bird, Johnson, or Jordan, are you really making that much money in the NBA?
I guess, but still, anyway, best record. Take a guess.
Boston?
No, LA Lakers. 65-17. Worst record.
Was it the Cavaliers?
LA Clippers.
Oh, yeah, of course.
12-70. Lakers beat Boston in the finals 4-2. Magic Johnson was valuable player of the league. Rookie of the year was Chuck Pearson, for Indianapolis Pacers. Defensive player of the year, Michael Cooper, the Lakers. Sixth player of the year, Ricky Pierce, the Bucks. Most improved player, Dale Ellis of the Supersonics. And coach of the year, Mike Schiller of the Portland Trail Blazers. You know what's funny about that? Whose name is nowhere's in there?
Jordan Bird?
Johnson? Yeah, Jordan's not in there at all. Well, Johnson won MVP. Jordan's nowhere to be found, which is funny. Okay, last one. NHL. Best record.
Oilers? No, Flames.
No, Oilers, 50-24-6.
Oilers. Okay.
Yeah. Worst record.
Was it Nordiques?
Buffalo. Things don't change. 28-44 and 8.
Hey, they're doing pretty good right now. It's early, but they're doing pretty good right now.
The Oilers beat the Flyers 4-3. I remember that. I actually remember that a little bit because that's my first year really getting into like remembering hockey. President's Trophy went to the Oilers.
Wait, you're wrong. You're looking at 87.
Is that sorry? It was 86 going into 87. That's my fault.
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
So you want to look at the 85-86 season?
Yeah, 86. It was Calgary over Montreal.
No, Montreal over Calgary.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Calgary over Montreal in 89.
Exactly. Okay, well I fucked up. So anyway, let's go to 1986 and veer off that. So what are you doing, Andrew LaSalle, in 1986?
Starting regular school that's not kindergarten or daycare.
So they're waving it. Is your mom crying at the bus when you're leaving and waving at you and embarrassing you?
No, you understand, Scott. Where I grew up on the corner of Rockland Road and like I don't even know what you call it. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know what the other street was called. Maybe Paradise Row. Anyway, I'm here. My school's right there. I didn't take any bus. I walked home for lunch and I walked to school. I mean, nobody lived closer than I did to the school. It was great because I got to watch a cartoon at lunch as opposed to your entire lunch is spent in
trying not to get bullied. You're like, don't get bullied. That's the whole thing at lunch. Don't get your ass kicked. I know for me being small, it was like, well, I wasn't really bullied because I could fight as a kid. So what else is going on? Were you into wrestling? You were into wrestling at that point.
This was my first full year as a wrestling fan because I started in autumn, late spring of 85 and 86 was my first full year, and I did a little perusing beforehand, and it brought back some memories of getting the magazines like this.
Yeah,
I won't hold it up too much because it has a lot of spoilers on the cover.
I know, and all the people watching this are gonna be so upset.
Both of them.
We had 15. We had 15 in our last one, so we're getting up there, buddy.
The numbers.
I got a fucking fruit fly floating around here.
I just want to know what our demos are. That's all.
Well, I'll have to get our producer to check on it. The non-producer that we have. Yeah. So for me, I'm into wrestling. I think like the cartoon got me into it in 85, and I know it. I've seen like watching Golden Girls with my mother and my sister as a kid, seeing the Saturday Night's Main Event promo, and just losing my mind when I seen Hogan, thinking, "Oh my God, he's real. He's not just some guy on a cartoon."
You know what I really loved at this time?
What's that?
The Rock and Wrestling sticker book. Every time we went to Shoppers or wherever, I had to buy a little pack of stickers to put them in my sticker book.
I remember the board game. I remember the board. My cousin had the board game. I remember playing that with we were sleeping in a tent or some shit because we're weird and sleep outside in the tent. Like why the fuck we did that? But anyway, for me, I was into wrestling. I was still into the harness racing. I got a fly coming by me. But I still love wrestling. My dad was actually, he would have been gone to the States at this point, but I was still into the harness racing. And, but I liked wrestling. I got to watch WrestleMania 2. I'm pretty sure I went to my aunt's for a sleepover, and she rented me WrestleMania 2. And part of the reason why I have a fondness for WrestleMania 2, I enjoy it. I remember getting years later, oh my God, a torrent. But it was the LA format. So they started they started with LA, went New York, and then Chicago, I think they finished with.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. And it was the actual satellite feed, and it was fucked up. You think the one you seen was fucked up? This one was really fucked up. Like, they were doing an interview with Hogan, they had no sound. And they had to cut it back, and it was
Train wreck.
I love it. It's so great. It's so great. I'm doing our little news thing at the bottom, if you're even looking at it here.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't really mean much. But anyway, that, just being, I think I was 7 or 8. God, I can't remember how old I was in 86. I was born in, I would have been 8. Yeah, I was 8 years old. So, like, school, hated school. Like, just did not like the idea of school at all. If I was, like, lived in the 20s, I would have probably dropped out at that point. Because it was not my... I don't know how did you feel about school as a kid when you were that young?
Oh, I was a gifted child. So...
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah, I like to think so. So I excelled. Where it stopped for me was in grade 11. That's where everything, like, I was at the point where I could coast and then it hit me because now all of a sudden stuff was hard, and it wasn't things that I already knew, and I just didn't have the work ethic, and it unraveled like.
You don't say. I went to high school with you. I'm not going to get into it because people here, maybe one of the 15 people watching this could be a family member, so we're going to just leave it at that.
Yep. So I do have some information about 1986 from the good old Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Yeah, well, let me finish our little buddy here.
Sure.
So we're going to show
Sure.
The number one show of the year was the Cosby Show. Yeah, that's times have changed. And the number one album.
I believe actually he's going to be traded from the Houston Texans to either the Panthers.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about
doesn't Cosby play quarterback for Houston?
Yeah, pretty much. The number one album was Welcome to the Real World by Mr. Mister, and that shows the music in 1986 sucked. I think Tom Petty was the only good thing going. So let's start up. Let's get rolling here. You got the PWI going for 1986.
Yep.
You can't show the cover. You said it has too many spoilers.
Yeah, it has spoilers, and I know how I like to get you to guess who would win.
All right, let's go through categories. Start up.
In memoriam, these are wrestling personalities who died in 1986. We've got Warren Bockwinkel, Nick's father.
Yeah.
Adrian Dubois, Bubba Douglas, Bulldog Gannon, Gene Gordon, Pierre Lefebvre, who was Frenchie Martin's tag partner in Montreal, El Solitario, and Tarzan Tyler, who died in that car accident with Pierre Lefebvre. And what I remember about Tarzan Tyler was in the very first Wrestle magazine I ever had, it had like a tribute to Tarzan Tyler, and I just remember thinking, oh, that's neat. That was my first exposure, and also the biggest death this year would have been Gino Hernandez.
Oh yeah, that was big. Then we get into that later. We get into that later in the Observer.
I bet.
Yeah, it's. So yeah, no, that's interesting. You want to start out with the first award? We're gonna go Rookie of the Year. I'll start out with my end. So let me get in here. And my Rookie of the Year, I want you to guess who it is.
Is it Owen Hart? Oh, okay.
Bam Bam Bigelow is the Rookie of the Year, and with him, he got 193 votes. Owen Hart was second with 78 votes. Sting was third with 18 votes. Savannah Jack was fourth with 6 votes, and Chris Benoit was also fifth. Well, tied for fourth with 6 votes also. So Bam Bam was pretty big, I guess, back then. He was in Memphis, was he at that point?
He was in Memphis. He also did a stint in World Class, and I think he even had that tryout in the WWF in '86, which would have been really interesting if he would have joined a year early.
It would have been. I don't know if they would have had him as a face in '86.
I think so. I think he would have followed the same path. I think he would have been like a Billy Jack Haynes level babyface.
Who's still missing, by the way? No one knows what the hell.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure I haven't heard that they found him. I mean, he's still not around. Like, where the fuck is Billy Jack Haynes at? That's a sin, because I'm not to cut you off with that, but if he's missing that long, that means
I wouldn't be surprised if he's just trying to stay away from creditors and has not paid his phone bill and he's no longer online. Because people like looking at it, like knocking on his door or anything like that?
I don't know. But anyway, keep going with what you're saying. So let's go to your Rookie of the Year.
Who do you think won it?
I'm going to go with Owen.
Mr. Lex Luger with an A.
Yeah, that makes
Luger.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense. They love Luger in the magazines.
They
fucking love him in the magazines. He's like the main man in PWI them next 4 years.
Lex Luger wins Rookie of the Year with 17,927 votes. First runner-up is Crusher Yurkoff, also known as Bam Bam Bigelow, with 14,592 votes. That was his name in World Class, Crusher Yurkoff.
Okay, yep.
They had him as like a Russian. Sting, second runner-up with 11,392 votes. And third runner-up, Tom McGee with 7,193 votes. Honorable mentions include The Warlord, Leon White, Ed Gantner, Sean Royal, Ted Arcidi, and Chris Champion.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's yeah. Well, I mean, I get Luger. I mean, even though I'm not a fan of Luger back then, I think Luger seems like an incredible human being now. He's so much different. But
I think it really depends. I mean, you gotta like weigh it by promotion and territory. I mean, Luger was a big deal in Florida, but Florida in '86 he was really pushed in the magazines as the second coming of Hogan. Like that's they had it in their mind that this is who was going to be the guy based purely on looks. Like, here we've got a Hogan that has a hairline, and he just didn't connect with the fans ever. Well, here and there, but not like Hogan.
Yeah. So we go to the next one, which is going to be the most improved wrestler. I'm going to guess on your end. Oh, that's a tough one. 86. What would they put as most improved? Huh. Nikita Koloff? I don't know. Nikita Koloff, maybe? I don't fucking know.
Terry Gordy.
That's so random. He was a UWF at that time, wasn't
he? UWF heavyweight champion. And prior to that, he was more of a tag team guy. So, kayfabe. Terry Gordy wins it with 13,582 votes. First runner-up is Scott Hall with 10,395 votes. Second runner-up, Sam Houston with 9,115 votes. Third runner-up, Wildcat Wendell Cooley with 7,285 votes. And honorable mentions include Nikita Koloff, Lance Von Erich, Arn Anderson, Dan Spivey, Steve Williams, and Ricky Morton.
All right, that's interesting. So guess what mine is?
I'm thinking. 86. Is it Nikita? Oh, Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I tried to find an 86 photo of him, but I just found him with, like, I think it was Eddie Gilbert or something. I couldn't put it up. So I was just like, yeah. But Rick Steiner got it. Let's go back to my thing with 78 votes. John Tatum was second with 39. Sting was third with 27. Jack Victory was fourth with 12. Shawn Michaels was fifth with 7. And then we have honorable mention Sam Houston, Steve Williams, Keiji Muto, and Buddy Roberts. So, yeah, I mean, Steiner, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't watching like a bunch of indies.
Steiner in 85, he was just a jobber. He was jobbing everywhere. AWA, Mid-South, and then in 86 was the first time he ever got a push. So it makes sense. I can see it.
So tag team of the year is the next one. I want you to guess who mine is.
Is it the Midnight Express?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's the wrong Midnight Express, my friend.
Oh, son of a bitch, man. Did I screw it up again? I was looking. Anyway, it's the Midnight Express. Oh, it's with Condrey. That's what was wrong.
Yeah.
That's because I thought it was with Stan Lane. I had a really good picture of Condrey and Eaton. But
Stan Lane joins in 87.
So anyway, well, we have Midnight Express at first with 172 votes. Ricky Chosu and Yastu at 24. Rock and Roll Express at 30. How the hell does that work? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever. Well, Rock and Roll Express third. Road Warriors fourth. British Bulldogs are fifth. Honorable mentions Freebirds, Midnight Rockers, Teddy DiBiase, and Steve Williams, and the Fantastics. I am going to go with yours as the Road Warriors.
The Rock and Roll Express.
Okay, fair enough.
They win it with 15,921 votes. Mm-hmm. First runner-up is the Road Warriors with 14,714 votes. Second runner-up, British Bulldogs with 13,166 votes. Third runner-up, Midnight Rockers with 7,173 votes. And honorable mentions include the Fantastics, the Midnight Express, Ted DiBiase and Steve Williams, Ole and Arn Anderson, Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine, and the Sheepherders.
Kind of similar, surprisingly enough. Yeah. Then I know we're kind of burning through, but whatever. Because at the end, we always get a lot. The next award we're going to go with, I'm going to start with you, is your Editor's Awards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have something that matches that a little bit.
Who do you think won the Editor's Award?
Ric Flair? I don't know. No, wait, Magnum TA.
That's a good guess.
Yes.
Vern Gagne.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why for being the worst promoter?
I don't know.
He retired. Didn't he retire that year?
He retired a few times. I think this was his last year that he had a match, so probably.
Yeah, well, fuck him. I didn't care about him. So what I put into place of that was Reader's favorite wrestler. That's what I put in that place. So I want you to guess who the Reader's favorite wrestler is.
Is it Ric Flair?
Yeah. The man with the plan right there, baby. Ric Flair, let's take a look at his... did I have that? Hold on a second here. Oh, I screwed up. Look at me. I didn't put it in. I'm going to have to go back. Hold on. Oh, there we are. Reader's favorite wrestler. Ric Flair, number 1. Bruce Brody at 2. Roddy Piper at 3, which is surprising in 86. Because, but I guess, they like him. Other, they call contenders, is Takada, Road Warrior Hawk, which is super random. Jake Roberts.
Yeah, it is random.
Yeah. Jake Roberts, Ted DiBiase, Jerry Lawler, Terry Gordy, Terry Funk, Ricky Steamboat, Jim Duggan, Steve Williams, Bruno Sammartino. But that's what that is, and that's the way they did it. But I just thought it was kind of cool. I thought, well, I'll mix that one in. It's somewhat.
Hawk throws me for a loop because do you know my friend Joe who used to live out here? Do you remember him?
Yeah.
That was his favorite wrestler.
It's so weird. He's a tag team wrestler.
I know.
I was
the most random favorite wrestler I've ever heard of.
I was a big Arn Anderson guy back in the day, so I shouldn't.
Yeah, but Arn's has a lot of solo stuff too. He's a tag team guy, but he's got some solo stuff, and he's like Hawk. He's good promo, but Arn was a TV champ. Hawk never had any singles belt.
I'll tell you, when I was a kid, play wrestling back when because we all did the play wrestling as kids. Mm-hmm. My selling was always the Arn Anderson selling. Oh,
that's who you incorporated. Okay.
I was like, and it was weird because I'll tell you, as we're talking, I was a huge Arn Anderson fan even as a kid. And I think it was a random. I'll tell you something funny about it. Mm-hmm. So I was a huge Arn Anderson fan as a kid. Loved him. I was a big fan, and it was a very odd person to be a fan of. Years later, I had a friend of mine when the pro wrestling was here in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. Let's get the pops up, people. And my friend was walking down the street with her 2 daughters, and the youngest daughter, who was probably, I think, maybe 9 or 10, her favorite wrestler, not Gallows, what's the other one? Anderson.
Oh, Carl Anderson.
That was her favorite wrestler. And they were sitting, it was AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson was out, not in the back. They were out on the deck somewhere, drinking coffee. And they walked by, oh my God. And she said, oh, where's Anderson at? That's my daughter's favorite wrestler. And Gallows, that's your daughter's favorite wrestler? Gave her a weird look. It was just really funny, how they said that's looking great.
I wonder if they've ever referenced that because they've been interviewed 1.5 million times. They must have mentioned.
You never know. Yeah. It'd be funny to somehow maybe tweet them that and say, "Have you remember that?"
Leave it in the comment box if you have any proof or evidence of Carl Anderson mentioning some little girl, him being their favorite wrestler from St. John, New Brunswick.
It was either Gallows or it was one of them. I'm pretty sure it was Anderson. I'll have to ask the person about
I remember you telling me this, and I remember thinking it was strange as well. It's like a Hawk situation.
Yeah. And it's funny how
worse than Hawk.
It's how it was either Gallows or Styles, just get that look like that. I think it was whoever it was. That's her favorite wrestler. Just that weird look on her face, which is pretty funny. So now we're gonna go to the most hated wrestler of the year, which I will be the first. No, you'll be the first one to go.
Okay, who do you think won it?
Paul Orndorff. What do you got here? What the hell's this shit? I can't even see that. Okay, Paul Orndorff. I get. Oh, because they tore it out. Didn't they tear it out of the magazine?
No. It's Mr. Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah,
Paul Orndorff.
And talk about an awesome heel. How
one
great
of my
was
favorites.
That run with Hogan was fucking awesome, man. One of my first runners decided to main event was their original match, and then the cage match, which I know was in '87. But go ahead with your rest of the people on there.
Yeah, so Orndorff wins it with 18,582 votes. First runner-up is Ric Flair with 13,581 votes. Second runner-up, Colonel De Beers with 10,388 votes.
He was kind of was he doing the hardcore racist gimmick at this
point? He wouldn't wrestle Jimmy Snuka because he didn't want to wrestle him.
Now, was this when he wouldn't let a black man referee his match, or was that later on?
That may have all been in the same year. I remember De Beers because I remember TSN being on Channel 23.
Yeah.
And they would have occasional free preview weekends.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the angle with him giving Snuka the magazine said a pile driver on the floor, but it was more like Ron Bass's finisher.
Almost like
the proto pedigree.
Yep.
And more of a flapjack like DDP used to do.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty neat because they did the whole stretcher job with Snooki, Denny, and Russell. And
Probably
third runner-up. Yeah.
Probably with the rehab. Keep going.
Third runner-up is Ravishing Rick Rude with 8,239 votes. And honorable mentions include Randy Savage, Tully Blanchard, Nikita Koloff, Stan Hansen, Adrian Adonis, and Michael Hayes.
And it's interesting that Savage is so low in that. Like, I mean, it's so strange because he was like a kick-ass heel in '86, man. But they didn't like him. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can kind of look at it like if you're a WWF fan, WWF guy, or gal, your votes go into Orndorff.
Yeah, true. That is true. Yeah. So guess what my best heel is, as they like to call it in the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Is it also Orndorff?
No.
Oh.
It is.
Oh, okay. Michael Hayes, really?
Yeah, I know. It's like
it's random.
Just really random. He was number one. Ric Flair was, and he was number one by like, it's like they're going by points. So he gets number one with 711 points. Ric Flair's number two with 492 votes, which is like, I don't even get that. Dump Matsumoto, 424. Anyway, Bill Dundee, Paul Rope was fifth, which is really crazy to be that low with his year he had. But I guess at the same time, wasn't a heel the entire year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned, what was it, August or July?
Like July, I think. Yeah, I think it was July. They did the whole run in August into September and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Honorable mentions Randy Savage, Colonel DeBreeze, and
De
Beers, and Larry Zbyszko, Mr. Andrew No Last Name Needed's favorite pro wrestler.
Wow. I love Larry Z.
So we have come, and we're at halftime. It's 31 minutes in, so we actually did some good time. So in the halftime, we're going to run this little thing. I'm going to, you know what? Because we were talking before about what we're going to do. I'm going to do two quick things. I just want to see if you agree with me. But you do your thing first. And what we're going to talk about is that if the NWA had action figures in 1986.
Yeah.
So do your thing.
I want your responses as well. Now,
I didn't write them down, so I'm just going to wing it.
That's fine. At this time, 1986, if you were a child and you went to the toy aisle, you had a couple of options. You had the LJN WF Superstars line,
which are awesome.
The big 8-inch bad boys. Mm-hmm. And you also had the AWA Remco line, which kind of had like He-Man bodies. Oh, I love them. I love them. And you also had bootlegs. Yeah. So not affiliated with anybody. But the NWA, arguably the second biggest promotion, had hardly any type of marketing or merchandising on a national scale. Maybe down south it was different. They were on 7-Eleven cups and stuff. So I used the template of the Galoob line, which was released in 1990, which was 12 NWA/WCW superstars, pro wrestlers. Mm-hmm. So I thought if they did this in 1986, it would be the Four Horsemen, getting 4 of them.
Yeah.
Road Warriors, Rock and Roll Express, Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff. And then we...
Magnum? What about Magnum?
It depends when in the year these are released.
I think you do Magnum regardless, even if it's after the accident.
See, I don't know about that. I think if it's after the accident, you want to push somebody that's going to be there to. True,
but
like I don't know who you would put in that situation. Maybe the Midnights.
Yeah, maybe, but that's interesting. No, I agree with that.
Would you do the same roster?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I don't see much of a difference. It looks pretty much the same. Mine was most Impact debut WWF and most Impact leaving WWF in 1986.
I give it yes.
Now let me explain before you guess. I searched, man, and I went through a few, and my thought is, who had the long-lasting at the debut? Like who lasted longer, who did more? But you can go ahead and guess. I don't think you're going to guess it.
I'm going to guess Jake Roberts for most impactful debut.
Well, I never even thought of that. But I thought Jake debuted late 85.
Nope. Early 86.
Well, I'm taking away my guess because I fucked that up.
Because were you going to say Hockey Talk?
I went through History of WWE and typed in Control F debut, and I only got a few. Jake wasn't in there. But I'm going with Jake. That's fine. Because I'll go with Jake. I'll say who I was going to pick. Slick.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, but I guess I think Jake debuted in February of 86, I'm pretty sure.
I'm Googling it right now as we speak. Yep, yeah. 86 is when he started.
Yeah, February, I think it was. So I'll go with Jake. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Most impactful leaving. Guess who that is?
Captain Lou?
No.
Terry Funk?
John Studd.
Oh, yeah. I think Captain Lou.
No, Captain Lou was done at that point, dude. Like when he was, no one gave a shit about Captain Lou anymore.
I see where you're coming from, but I'm talking about like career-wise, like not just his 86, 85. Yes, Studd certainly was higher up when he left, although Albano was the manager of the tag champs.
Well, this is the deal. With Studd leaving, like they were setting a feud with him and Bundy. Everyone knows that. And then I think Studd just left. I don't even know what the story behind it was.
Who do you think was going to be the heel and who do you think was going to be the face in there?
I think Bundy was going to be the face.
If that's the case,
because they went to Kamala, they were going to go Kamala Bundy.
Right, but they never pulled the trigger with putting Bundy as a face. Do you think it's because Bam Bam took that spot?
Maybe they just didn't think he'd work as a face.
Maybe he needed a big guy to be against in order for it to work for him being a face.
Well, they were going to have him. There was no way they were turning Kamala face in 86.
No. I mean, if you think about it, you could have him against Studd, and then Andre's post-Hogan feud could have been against Bundy instead of Duggan.
But how, do you even put Bundy as a face? What do you, do you use his comedy? The way, because he was a pretty funny guy.
I think you just have him as a kick-ass babyface, like how Hercules was. Hercules didn't do any comedy when he was a babyface. He was just, now he was wrestling bad guys instead of good guys.
Yeah. So my other thing we talked about, we were going to do, because we didn't want a fantasy book, because fantasy booking is kind of overdone. Yeah. But I just want to say one thing: the Rumble. If they do a Rumble in 86, I already have in my head who wins. I think you can probably pick who I'm picking.
There's a couple of guys could be.
Okay, go ahead. Remember, go ahead.
Either Andre, or Hogan, or Savage. Yeah.
You go with Savage. It gives him back that win from Wrestling Classic, that loss. And I think you don't. Yeah, I think you go almost like.
Do you have another match as the main event then, so that the last match isn't a heel?
Yeah, you can go Hogan. You can go Hogan with somebody,
like Morocco or something.
Morocco or Sheik or somebody to go with that. I mean, but I look at Savage getting the win at the Rumble and doing the Iron Man, Savage. Actually, no, because that almost turns.
You babyface him.
Yeah, you don't want to babyface him. You bring him in middle of the pack, and have it be a little bit maybe he eliminates Tito and makes it a little bit sketchy, because this is the other question I have: when do they really turn Elizabeth face? Because Elizabeth was originally a heel.
I think it just was gradual.
Yeah.
She was initially far more heelish, calling out Hogan and stuff like that, and then eventually, she just became her natural personality. And I think she was genuinely concerned and worried, because if the camera panned to Elizabeth, she was looking concerned. She was perpetually nervous.
Worried about that closet. Saying, fuck, this better work out, dude.
This has nothing to do with Patterson. Okay.
And I'll tell you right now, I don't want to eat TV dinners for the rest of my life. All right. So we have gone through that. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go right into the next award, which is Feud of the Year. That will go up to me. I want you to guess what it is. Okay. I thought you were looking to bring yours up.
No, I was just going back to my Feud of the Year. Is it Hogan Orndorff?
Yep. It's funny because Orndorff looks like the face here and Hogan looks like the heel, but it's the only good picture I can find. I mean, that's automatic. That's up there. But that got the number one vote. Midnight Express and Rockwell Express got number 2. Jerry Lawler versus Bill Dundee gets number 3. Ricky Steamboat and Jake Roberts gets number 4. Ricky Chosu and Yostu, I can't pronounce his last name. Yasuo?
Yoshiaki Yatsu.
Yes, okay. And Tenryu and Saruda. Freebirds against Stevie Austin Williams, Fujiyama Maeda. Fantastics and Sheep Herders. Magnum TA and Koloff. Rockers versus Rose and Don Summers. You jump into yours. I gotta go check my cat real quick. So just do your thing. He's all Bana stuff.
Sure. Well, Scott's doing that. I just wanted to say that myself personally, I'm watching different wrestling programs on my own. AWA, Mid-South, World Class, WWF All-Star, NWA World Championship Wrestling. And right now, I'm just starting 86 for World Class, and I'm almost in 86 for Mid-South, and I'm really excited about that. Not so much for the World Class, because I know that 86 is a big downward slide for them, but Mid-South's 86 is supposed to be really good. And I've seen here and there, but to watch it on a week-to-week basis, I'm really excited for that. It's like how I was excited for 85 World Class, because I knew that the Gino and Chris Adams stuff was coming up. And as much as I love the Freebirds and Von Erich stuff, there's only so many combinations you can see before you want to see something new.
Mid-South is good in like all the years I've watched. Okay, so your best feud of the year, I'm going with Orndorff and Hogan also.
It is Hogan and Orndorff.
Let's show them wrestling. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. I think that award was made for that feud.
Yeah, there we go.
So anyway, go ahead.
They win Feud of the Year with 12,738 votes. First runner-up is Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes with 11,912 votes. Second runner-up, the Sheep Herders versus the Fantastics with 10,271 votes. And third runner-up, Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express with 9,184 votes. Honorable mentions include Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage, Nikita Koloff versus Magnum TA, Jake Roberts versus Ricky Steamboat, Colonel De Beers versus Scott Hall, Ron Bass versus Barry Windham, and Paul Jones versus Jimmy Valiant.
Colonel De Beers and Scott Hall would be an interesting feud. I wonder what he said in them interviews. Like, what the hell? I could even imagine what that was. So we're going to jump right into the next one. Manager of the Year. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Andrew. Let's see who you got. Actually, I'm going to guess.
Sure.
Bobby Heenan. No, actually, no. I'll take that back. J.J. Dillon.
It is Mr. Captain Lou Albano.
Oh, that's fucking shit. It's
kind of a lifetime achievement award, if anything. Albano's last award before this one was in 81, so not that long ago. Albano wins it with 13,591 votes. First runner-up is Paul Ellering with 11,911 votes. Second runner-up is Elizabeth with 11,419 votes. Third runner-up, Jim Cornette with 10,981 votes. And honorable mentions include Bobby Heenan, J.J. Dillon, Gary Hart, Jimmy Hart, Percy Pringle, and J.D. Costello.
J.D., who the hell's J.D. Costello?
He was the manager of the Mod Squad, and it was like a dollar store version of Jim Cornette.
Okay. So, my manager of the year, take a guess who it is.
Jim Cornette. Yeah.
Damn right, brother.
Jim Cornette winning Manager of the Year, Ric Flair winning Wrestler of the Year are pretty much givens in the Observer.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2, Bobby Heenan. Number 3, Jimmy Hart. Number 4, Percy Pringle. Number 5, J.J. Dillon. Honorable mention, Skandar Akbar. So, I mean, yeah, Cornette. And Cornette's good. I mean, let's be real about it. Cornette's really, really good back then. I'm not a fan of Cornette now because he doesn't shut the fuck up. But anyway, I mean, whatever. That's just Cornette's way. So the next one is actually in place. So you have Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. So I'm actually gonna place something else into my end as most disgusting tactic by a promotion. So I want you to guess what it is.
Is it Fritz Von Erich faking his heart attack?
No.
That was 87.
Now what it is, I'm gonna read it to you. It's equating an angle, Chris Adams' blindness with Gino Hernandez's death.
God damn it.
So there you go. I didn't have them wrestling, so I just picked that up. But yeah, that's how it went, and that's that's wrestling for you, man. That's the way it
Yep.
works. No care at all. These are the rest of them. Mud matches in world class, which I find whatever. Adrian Adonis' gay act. Okay. Continue use of Magnum TA's name in the Starcade hype. Kevin Von Erich's interview where he said his brother was killed in a match by getting kicked in the stomach. Holy god damn it. That's pretty bad.
Well, he was probably on some substances. Who knows?
Usage of celebrities in WrestleMania 2, which is like, why is that disgusting? That just sucked. I love it, but most people don't like it. John Boyd, Jeff Jarrett's Snake Pit match in Memphis, which, okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the magazines.
What's that about?
Picture a casket match, but the casket's in the ring. And that's how it was initially when they first did coffin matches. And there was snakes inside, and that's how you would win the match.
No, I'll pass on that match real quick. That was me. The rest of parking lot incident with Rhodes and the Four Horsemen. This is 3. Make It Good. Roddy Piper versus Mr. T. The idea nothing. Okay. The idea nothing's happened until it airs on TV, so guys can defend the belts after losing them until TV airs. WrestleMania Battle Royal with the football players. Wheeling Kevin Von Erich out for every big show. Chris Von Erich saying Kevin's title win that God gave us another world champion. I don't fucking know. Some of them they're just throwing things like the WrestleMania stuff. Like, who gives a shit? But you go ahead with your nice, happy, inspirational rest of the year. I'm gonna guess Magnum TA.
Little synergy actually with who won most disgusting promotional tactic. Chris Adams wins inspirational wrestler of the year.
He was blinded. That's a by man who he killed later on. So that's
Chris Adams.
What was the reason? Just because he was blinded. That's why they did it.
I'll read you the first paragraph.
Yeah.
The irony is incredible and at the same time excruciatingly sad. Mike Von Erich won Inspirational Wrestler of the Year award in 1985 because of his courageous battle against toxic shock syndrome. That illness was the result of surgery to correct shoulder injuries suffered in a match against Gino Hernandez.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Okay, moving on.
First runner-up.
Oh, the runner-up. Sorry, go ahead.
First runner-up is Magnum TA. Second runner-up, Kerry Von Erich. Third runner-up, Steve Williams. And honorable mentions include Mike Von Erich, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Bruno Sammartino, Jimmy Snuka, and Ric Flair.
Okay, first off, how does Magnum TA not get in there as a legit injury over a worked injury?
Well, the only thing I can say is that I believe that accident happened in mid-October.
Okay.
So maybe some votes were already cast.
Fair enough. That's fair.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. So the next one is the most popular wrestler of the year, and I'm going to pick Mr. Hulk Hogan. No, sorry, Dusty Rhodes. Who do you got there? I don't see Dusty. Who do you have?
You can't see that.
Oh, Piper. My bad. It's weird. It's like blurry. But okay, go ahead.
Rowdy Roddy Piper wins most popular wrestler of the year.
See the fact he was a heel partway through the year.
Well, Orndorff won most hated wrestler.
And I mean, honestly, Piper wasn't a heel in 86. Let's be fucking real about it. He was getting cheered pretty hard. Okay, so go ahead with the rest of them.
First runner-up is Hulk Hogan with 12,911 votes. Second runner-up, Rick Morton with 12,482 votes. Third runner-up, Nikita Koloff with 9,271 votes. And honorable mentions include Magnum TA, Hacksaw Duggan, Robert Gibson, Rick Steamboat, Terry Taylor, and Dusty Rhodes.
Interesting. So I want you to guess who my most popular wrestler was.
Is it Hogan?
Yeah. That's right, brother. The Hulkster. He wins that. Let's go take a look. He wins it by a pretty good amount, actually. If they're going by whatever, I can't figure out their point system, but it's a lot. Guess who number 2 is?
Is it Piper?
Jim Duggan.
Huh.
Yeah. Ricky Chosu at 3. Ricky Morton at 4. Road Warriors at 5. Honorable mention, Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Jerry fucking Lawler, fuck him. Magnum and Magnum TA, which is like, wow, man. Magnum doesn't get much love there at all.
No.
Like, that's Anyway, so let's jump into the next one. Match of the year. You go ahead. I'm gonna guess. Hogan and Orndorff from Toronto. Dusty and Flair. Yeah, that was my second guess. What was it from?
Great American Bash '86. It was the one where Dusty beats Flair for the title, and I remember seeing that as a kid. It was my first NWA tape. We had rented it from Olson's store on Loch Lomond Road.
Yeah, Olson's meat store is not too popular in the city anymore. I'll tell you that one. I don't know if the same company who owns it. Whoever owns Olson Meats is gone. Bye bye.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother telling me that the owner wound up with Parkinson's, and
maybe it's a different one. But anyway,
it may be a different one. But we rented that, and I remember watching it and seeing Dusty win the title, and also getting a magazine that had Dusty Rhodes with the title on the cover. So I thought Dusty was a champion for a lot longer than his reign was. That wins it with 14,584 votes. First runner-up, Bulldogs versus the Dream Team, 12,058 votes. Second runner-up, the finals of the Jim Crockett Memorial Tag Team Tournament, Road Warriors versus Ronnie Garvin and Magnum TA. And third runner-up, the main event for the big event, Hulk Hogan versus Paul Orndorff. And honorable mentions include Hulk Hogan's steel cage match victory over King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2.
No.
Ric Flair's August 9 victory over Dusty Rhodes for the world title in St. Louis. Randy Savage's Intercontinental title victory over Tito Santana on February 8 in Boston. And the Midnight Express's February 2 win over the Rock and Roll Express in Atlanta for the NWA World Tag Team titles.
Interesting. I want you to guess my match of the year.
Is it Akira Maeda versus Tatsumi Fujinami?
No.
Oh, okay.
Flair win them from Orlando, February 14th. Go ahead.
I was going to guess. Is that the Battle of the Belts too?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
because they also had a match at the Crockett Cup Memorial Tournament. They were the lone non-tag match.
Oh, this one here was this was February 14th in Orlando.
Yeah, it was in Orlando. Then it was Battle of the Belts because the other one would have been in New Orleans.
Yasuo and Chozu versus Jumbo Tsuruta and Tenryu, number 2. Fujinami versus Maeda is number 3. Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express is number 4. And number 5 is Kizunagi versus Takada. Honorable mentions, Fantastic versus the Sheep Herders that he gave 5 stars to. I'm pretty sure it's one he gave 5 stars to. Midnight Rockers versus Buddy Rose and Doug Summers. The Cobra versus Takada. Ric Flair versus Ricky Morton. British Bulldogs versus Greg Valentine and Bruce Beefcake. WrestleMania 2. That is my match of the year. What is your... I'm going to guess the rest of the year, and I'm going to guess Mr. Ric Flair. Woo! I like to wave my pee-pee on planes and never get talked about again as long as I live. Ricky Flair. Yeah.
Ric Flair.
PWI, dude. PWI. So who's number 1, 2, 3, all that jazz?
So Ric Flair wins it with 19,291 votes. First runner-up is Hulk Hogan with 15,239 votes. Second runner-up, Randy Savage with 8,234 votes. Third runner-up, Nikita Koloff with 7,915 votes. And honorable mentions include Magnum TA, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Bruiser Brody, Hacksaw Duggan, and Chris Adams.
Guess who mine is?
Let's see. Does his name rhyme with dick hair?
He likes to show his pee-pee to people. And it's not Tony Schiavone. It's Ric Flair. It's Ric Flair. Ric Flair is the guy who got the votes. Let's go and take a look here. He got a ton of votes. Hogan was 2. DiBiase 3. Akira Maeda was 4. Terry Gotti was number 5. Honorable mentions is Ricky Chozu. So that's that's pretty much, Flair. They're both picking Flair. PWI doesn't want to give WWF their credit, and they're going to give Flair the title, or the win, and Observer's not giving anything to anyone but Flair. So, okay, so we're going to jump into the secondary awards, and I'll kind of start a little bit of my end. I'll do 3, and then you can jump in and do 3. Sound good?
I don't have any other awards.
Oh, really? You don't have any predictions or anything?
I have predictions. I can do predictions. So you do your awards, and then I'll do my predictions.
I'll jump in. I'll do like 3 or 4.
Sure.
Most outstanding wrestler, Ric Flair is number 1. Fujinami is 2. Teddy DiBiase is 3. Takada is 4. Bobby Eaton is 5. Honorable mention: Ricky Steamboat, Terry Gordy, Tiger Mask. Guess who most unimproved is?
Is it Hillbilly Jim?
It's what? He was never fucking improved. What are you talking about? It's Bob Orton.
Well, I just thought post-leg injury got even worse.
Yeah, Bob Orton was that. Kevin Von Erich was number 2. Paul Rudd was number 3, which is surprising because he had that run, but he had a bad early start. He had a bad start. He had a rough start. Like his early 86 stuff was really bad. Like that match with Orndorff or Morocco in WrestleMania was fucking horrible. Piper at 4, Dynamite Kid at 5. Well, he fucking broke his back. Honorable mention: Dick Slater, Don Morocco, Adrian Adonis, Junkyard Dog, and Davey Boy Smith. Most obnoxious. You can take a wild guess at that one.
Is it Hulk Hogan?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Okay.
Gorilla Monsoon's at 2 because I know hey love that. Let's see the look on your face. Oh, he's angry. David Crockett, Larry Nelson at 4, Hulk Hogan at 5. I'll mention Genie Oakland, Mean Gene, woo, and Dusty Rhodes. So you go ahead with some predictions. I'm interested by these ones.
Sure. So William E. Kolb of Louisville, Kentucky had these.
Hey William, how you doing? Are you still watching William? Because this was a long time ago.
This is what he thought 1987 would look like. Okay. The Machines will win the WWF Tag Team title. Nope. Ric Flair will lose the NWA World title to the Warlord.
No.
Thank God that didn't happen. The Rock and Roll Express will keep their tag team title. Paul Jones will get his head shaved. He did. Bob Orton will become a fan favorite.
Nope.
Terry Taylor will become the UWF champion. Rick Steamboat will steal Jake Roberts' snake, put the DDT on Roberts, and cover him with the snake. Steamboat will also win the WWF Intercontinental title. Yeah. Roddy Piper will put Paul Orndorff out of wrestling. Some other predictions here. This is Mickey Shock from Shreveport, Louisiana. Dusty Rhodes will retire to become the manager of a new talent who is bigger than the Warlord and faster than Ricky Morton.
They love the Warlord this time, don't they? Like,
they did.
They think he's the next big thing. Excuse me.
Fallen Angel will leave Kevin Sullivan to marry someone she calls the ultimate male, Jim Cornette.
That was me. That's I married this one.
Rick Rude will turn on Paul Jones when he feels that Shaska Whatley and Manny Fernandez are getting all the title shots. He will ask Dusty Rhodes to manage him, but will be turned down. Eddie Elner has something nice to say about Dusty Rhodes and the Rock and Roll Express in the same issue of PWI. He's immediately put on sick leave for 2 months. Liz Hunter can't take it anymore and attempts to sexually assault a rookie wrestler. She becomes the public relations director at the Ladner Sisters Home for Muscle Junkies. And last prediction here, this is from Luc Carbonneau of Montreal, Quebec. The Machines will be unmasked by John Studd and King Kong Bundy. Colonel De Beers, Austin Idol, Nord the Barbarian, and the Rock and Roll Express will join the WWF.
No, they won't.
Lex Luger will defeat Ric Flair for the NWA World title. Nick Bockwinkel will lose the AWA title by default. Hulk Hogan will defeat Paul Orndorff in a chain match at WrestleMania 3. Roddy Piper will cripple Adrian Adonis. Steve Simpson will turn on the Von Erichs. Fabulous Moolah will retire. Not yet.
Yeah. Kind of. She kind of does in a way. Because after that, but it comes back in like the 2000s.
I guess, yeah. Was it 2000 or 99?
99, I think, yeah.
A giant card including 20 dream matches will attract 50,000 fans and will feature stars from the Florida, Mid-Southern, AWA, World Class, UWF, World Championship, and Southeast areas.
And me. I would go on there.
That's some high hopes.
Future Hall of Fame Scotty me. Oh, are you done yours?
Yeah.
Okay. We jump into mine. So best on interviews. You can take a wild guess.
There's a couple possibilities. Is it Cornette or Piper?
Cornette.
Yeah. And
then it's Flair, Michael Hayes, Piper, Bill Dundee, Jim Duggan, and Jimmy Garvin. Most charismatic.
Hogan,
yeah. Got a ton of votes. Road Warriors at 2, Chosu at 3, Piper at 4, Flair at 5, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Morton, and Michael Hayes. Best technical wrestler.
Is it Wyndham?
Fujinami.
Oh, okay.
Yasuo is number 2. DiBiase's 3. Takada's 4. Flair's 5. Chavo Guerrero's 6. Or no, honorable mention. Ricky Steamboat, Kira Maya, Dynamite Kid, Bobby Eaton. Best brawler.
Bruiser Brody?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
No, it's Terry Gordy.
Oh, okay.
Brody gets 2nd. Jim Duggan's 3rd. St. Hansen's 4. DiBiase's 5. And Steve Williams is number honorable mention. What do you got for me?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. This is something we didn't discuss. And it was something I was planning for a different year.
Okay.
But I don't really have any other things to do other than this. And this is a big one. This is how we'll end this episode.
Well, I go through my stuff? I gotta go through my stuff then if you're gonna end it like this.
Oh, well then
we can do it, but I'll just go through my other awards real quick.
Yeah, let's go through your other awards because this is a long thing.
Okay, so we got best flying wrestler. Do you want to guess, or want me to just say it?
Just say it.
Tiger Mask, aka Masawa. Bob Eaton at 2, Chavo Guerrero 3, Nero Casas at 4, Great Muda at 5, Randy Savage, Owen Hart, Ricky Steamboat, Tonga Kid. Most overrated wrestler. This is fun. You gotta guess this.
Is it Hogan?
Hogan, yeah. Dusty Rhodes at 2. Orndorff at 3. Like, they really didn't like Orndorff. I don't know what that was.
It's the same thing when we did 94 with their anti-Bret Hart stuff. Yeah. I think it's just a matter of, they're on TV, they're being pushed. I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike Von Erich, Junkyard Dog, then Lance Von Erich, Kevin Von Erich. Well, Lance wasn't part of the Von Erichs. Luger and Nikita Koloff. Most underrated.
Eaton?
Yeah, it was Eaton at 1, Bret Hart at 2, Jack Victory, Hector Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, and then Brad Armstrong. Best promotion. This is very interesting. I like these ones.
Is it New Japan?
UWF.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have New Japan 2, Jim Crockett at 3, All Japan, Titan, WF at 4 or 5, JR Promotions, and All Japan Women. Best television show.
UWF?
Yeah, UWF at that one. And then we have, the Memphis, it's almost 1 a.m, that's why I'm yawning. Memphis Live Show, New Japan, All Japan, Power, Pro, UWF, and then honorable mentions, Superstars, Crockett Worldwide, and Japanese Girls. Best television announcer.
Jim Ross?
Lance Russell. Jim Ross is number 2. Your boy Tony Schiavone is at 3. Look at that go. And then Gordon Soley. Worst television announcer.
Gorilla?
David Crockett.
Oh. Yeah.
Bill Mercer's at 2. Girls at 3. Barry Richards is at 4. Larry Nelson's 5. And then there's a bunch of other ones. Best wrestling move. I can just say this one. And you don't have to try to guess it.
Is it Space Flying Tiger Drop?
No, it's Chavo Guerrero backflip flying body press. Number 2 is Jake Roberts DDT. Oh. Number 3 is Dynamite Kid superplex from the top rope. And then there's a bunch of ones. Hardest worker.
Flair,
yeah. Fujinami's at 2, Bret Hart's at 3, honorable mentions, Ricky Steamboat, Terry Gordy, Sam Houston, Ted DiBiase, and Bobby Eaton. Biggest shock of the year.
I have no clue.
Magnum TA's accident.
Oh.
Biggest shock story, yeah. Number 2 is Gino Hernandez dying. I can't believe like Magnum's accident beat out Gino Hernandez.
Well, that's kind of like the reverse of the other one because Gino died in early February, so maybe it's kind of like releasing a movie in early February. People forget about it in December.
Yeah. Number 3, Harley Race going to WWF. Honorable mentions, Kevin Von Erich, motorcycle accident, the demise of the AWA. AWA title not changing hands in the ring and the way it was handled. Is that when Hansen left?
Yeah.
Basically just ran over this thing there.
Yeah.
Best TV color commentator.
Jesse?
Michael Hayes.
Oh! Wow.
They fucking love him. Jesse's 2. Bockwinkel is 3. Our mentions Jim Cornette and Bobby Heenan. Give me a second here. My computer's acting up. Strongest wrestler.
Animal?
We're getting close.
No, Steve Williams.
No, you had it right. It was Animal.
Oh, Animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Steve Williams was 2. Road Warrior Hawk was 3. Reader's least favorite wrestler.
Is it Hogan?
It's Hogan. Number 2 is Dusty. Number 3 is Junkyard Dog. Number 4 is Mike Von Erich. Honky Tonk Man is up there. Jimmy Valiant, Ronnie Garvin, Andre the Giant, Hillbilly Jim, and Lance Von Erich. Worst wrestler. Listen to this one. Rookies are ineligible.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Is this Silo Sam?
Mike Von Erich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Andre's number 2. Jimmy Valiant's 3. Then honorable mentions Hogan, Lance Von Erich, Uncle Elmer, George Seal, Rufus Jones, Junkyard Dog, Honky Tonk Man, Dusty, John Studd, Abdul the Butcher, and Danny Spivey. Worst tag team.
Was it Sheik and Volkov?
It was Junkyard Dog and George Steele.
Oh.
That's a pretty good one. Lance and Mike Von Erich, Dan Spivey and Mike Rotundo. Our mentions Bundy and Studd, Blade Runners, Lance Von Erich and Dingo Warrior, Moondogs. Worst television show. You guys said this, you're a fucking genius.
Is it Wild West?
No, that was what we did in that one when they kept fucking banning us. California Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
2, AWA on ESPN, World Class. They put TNT up there. I love TNT. TNT's fucking great.
Well,
it was
with
bad
Gene?
in 86. Yeah, it was bad in 86. Big Time Wrestling in Portland, WWF Challenge, Crockett Worldwide, Crockett WTBS, Superstars, ICW, Bruiser, Bedlam, Primetime Wrestling, All American Wrestling, Glow. Worst manager.
Fuji?
Paul Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Sheik Agnon Casey, 2. Mr. Fuji, 3. Other contenders, Slick, Lou Albano, The Wizard, Percy Pringle, Oliver Humperdinck, and I cannot talk, Freddie Blassie.
In 86,
Yeah.
Fuji didn't have Sika and Kamala yet, did he? Because it was the Wizard?
Late. He had them late. No, he did. He got them in 87. You're right. Yeah.
So it was just Morocco all year.
Yeah. I mean, that was just, he didn't even really manage. He just did comedy shit the whole time.
Yeah, and some of the time Morocco was being managed by Jimmy.
Yeah, with Orton.
Yeah.
Worst match of the year.
Is it Elmer against Adonis?
Piper and T.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. More time.
Number 2, Hogan and Bundy. Number 3, Morocco and Orton. So the top 3 are from WrestleMania 2.
your favorite.
The rest of it, Kevin Von Erich versus Bart Gunn, or Black Bart, sorry. The Machines versus Bundy and Studd. Inoki versus Leon Spinks. Is that worst feud of the year?
Paul Jones and Jimmy Valiant?
Machines versus Bundy and Studd.
No.
The rest is Jimmy Valiant versus Paul Jones. Hall versus Cronin the Beers. Paul Rudd versus Morocco. Savage versus Steele. Dusty versus Flair. Magnum versus Volkov.
Just wait a second here. Matches aren't feuds.
What are you talking about? What match are you talking about? That's not a feud.
Orndorff and Morocco didn't have a feud.
A little, yeah, I guess. Worst on interviews.
I mean, that would be like saying that Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Bad News Brown had a feud in 89.
I don't know, because I didn't watch all the 86 TV. Maybe they did feud. I don't fucking know. I don't think they did.
I don't think they did.
Worst on interviews.
Andre?
Mike Von Erich.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Snuka was 2. Kendall Winder was 3. Mike or Andre didn't even make the list. Best valet. Go ahead.
I was going to say probably because he spent a lot of the time as one of the Machines, so he wasn't even doing interviews.
Best valet.
Is it Liz?
Missy Hyatt. Worst valet.
Baby Doll?
Liz.
Oh.
Worst promotion.
AWA?
Yep. Best booker.
Bill Watts?
Dusty Rhodes. Best gimmick performer. What's the best gimmick?
Road Warriors?
Adrian Street. Jake Roberts was 2. Worst gimmick.
Adrian Adonis?
Your damn Skippy. Most embarrassing wrestler.
Adrian Adonis?
Yep. And then Mike Von Erich, George Steele, Jimmy Valiant, Uncle Elmer, Baron Von Raschke, the Honky Tonk Man, Abdul the Butcher Kamala. And that's the end of that. And I'll say something with the Honky Tonk Man. It's really painful to watch him in 86 as a face.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen some of it on Challenge that I've watched.
Oh, it's so bad. Did you ever see the one with him in the snake pit when he's a face?
Yeah.
Fucking bad. Like that. Go ahead.
Well, you know what it is? It's Vince not understanding the gimmick because he didn't create it. And he thinks, oh well, everybody loves Elvis. You know, well, pal, they'll love this.
Well, he was the heel in Calgary, was he not? As the Elvis impersonator?
Yeah, but, you know, if he did go face, he had years and years of, you know, equity built in. You know how it is. Like, the heel that's been there for a while, if he has an opportunity with another heel, the fans are to rally behind them regardless of the heel because they've been just dying to cheer for them. You don't debut a guy like Honky Tonk Man as a babyface. Like, I could see, like, let's say there's a falling out with Rhythm and Blues.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Hart sticks with Valentine. And I could see then
Honky Tonk. He'd be a horrible face. He'd be a fucking horrible face.
That would be the only time I think he could have done it.
Because the thing about Honky is as a heel, he's fucking great as a heel. Like, just that stupidness and like...
Oh, I agree. And his soft as shit offense works as a heel because you're like, kick his ass.
Yeah. And I'm surprised. Like, we'll get off that, but I don't know, like, when we look at 87 eventually, like 88, how that 87, he has to get either heel of the year or a high vote for that. Because he is I mean, dude, I watched Wrestling Hardcore in 88 early. That motherfucker was an awesome heel. But anyway, go ahead with your last one. Let's hear it.
So here's what I was going to do. I have in front of me the official wrestling ratings.
Okay.
This spans a few different promotions, and I was going to go from 10 up to 1 with each one. Ask you which wrestler you prefer out of all of them. Put a tick mark beside whichever one you said that you prefer, and then see which promotion has the most ticks.
Okay, that's cool. We can do that.
Wendell Cooley, Ken Timms, Tito Santana, Debbie Combs, Boy Tony, Sheik Abdullah, Steve Williams, forget I said Steve Williams.
Oh, all right.
Because I was reading most populars.
All right, go ahead.
The Falcon, Brian Adidas, Leroy Brown, and Ole Anderson.
Tito.
Okay. Sam Houston, Brad Reigns, Magnificent Morocco, Leilani Kai, Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller, Chris Champion, Mike Von Erich, One Man Gang, Brad Armstrong.
Morocco. I was kind of veering towards One Man Gang a little bit, but I go Morocco's because I'm not going Morocco 86, it's Morocco entirely, and then I'm going Morocco.
Yeah, if I'm asking 86, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Dick Murdoch, Boris Zukov, Harley Race, Velvet McIntyre, Uncle Elmer, known as Hillbilly Elmer, Tom Pritchard, Ron Simmons, Steve Simpson, Sting, and Crusher Khrushchev.
Who was the first? I think it was the second one you said.
Boris Zukov.
No, before him.
Dick Murdoch.
I'll go with Sting.
There was also Harley Race. Was that who you were thinking of?
Yeah, but I'll still go with Sting over Harley.
Okay. Arn Anderson.
Oh, well, never mind. Don't bother. Just
Not
go.
necessarily. You don't know.
Yeah, man, unless it's Savage, I'm not picking another person with Anderson. I'm telling you the truth. You don't even bother wasting your time. But go ahead, say it. Say the guys.
So we got Arn Anderson, Johnny Rich, Dick Slater, Candy Devine.
Oh, well,
Austin.
Candy Devine. What the fuck am I thinking?
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Austin Idol, Jimmy Golden, Ed Gantner, Dingo Warrior, also known as Ultimate Warrior.
I'm aware who the Dingo Warrior is.
Rick Steiner and Rip Rude.
Yeah, it's Anderson. It's crazy talk.
Barry Windham, Jimmy Snuka, John Studd, Linda Dallas, Akil Sato, Steve Armstrong, Kareem Mohammed, Abdullah the Butcher, Steve Williams, and Ronnie Garvin.
Barry Windham.
Now we've got Ronnie Garvin, Silo Sam, Ricky Steamboat, Cat LaRue, Tracy Smothers, Tony Anthony, Kendall Windham, Bruiser Brody, Terry Taylor, Dick Murdoch.
Bruiser Brody.
Lex Luger, Kurt Hennig, Jake Roberts, Fabulous Moolah, Tommy Rich, The Bullet, Hacksaw Higgins, Crusher Yurkoff, a.k.a. Bam Bam, Hacksaw Duggan, Dusty Rhodes.
Kurt Hennig.
Tully Blanchard, Colonel De Beers, Roddy Piper, Wendy Richter, Dirty Rhodes, Wendell Cooley, Ron Bass, Lance Von Erich, Ted DiBiase, Arn Anderson.
Okay, go Arn Anderson again?
Yeah, because there's one category that he's in one group and he's in another group. There's a few guys that cross over. Arn? Okay. Dusty Rhodes, Scott Hall, Paul Orndorff, Misty Blue Sims, Big Bubba, and this is Big Bubba, who is Tugboat Typhoon Shockmaster.
Okay.
Exotic Adrian Street, Barry Windham, Buzz Sawyer, Buddy Roberts, Tully Blanchard.
We'll go Windham again. Oh, whoa, what's going on there, big fella?
I'm dropping stuff, folks. Everything's okay.
Yeah, this is causing all the trouble.
This one I already know, but I'm going to read it just to read it.
Okay.
Nikita Koloff, Larry Zbyszko, Randy Savage, Sherry Martel, Jerry Lawler, Kevin Sullivan, Lex Luger, Kevin Von Erich, Terry Doherty, Nikita Koloff.
Randy Savage.
Okay, now which promotion do you think you had the most ticks on?
World Wrestling Federation.
You're a WWF fanboy with 3.
Right there.
Second place went to NWA with 2, and then there were 5 with 1 vote each.
Well, that's the way we roll. So that is 1986 year in awards between the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the Wrestling Observer, a.k.a. Newsstand versus Newsletter. Now, when you see this on your favorite local Facebook wrestling promotion, Facebook page, make sure you click on it. Make sure you subscribe. Don't just click on it and go, that's kind of cool to watch. I'm not going to bother subscribing or hitting a like button or hitting the notification bell, because the more you subscribe, the better for us, right? We're going to be bringing lots of new content all the time, and the YouTube page will always be updated. And, we're just starting out. This is what? Show number 4?
Yeah.
So, but we'll be coming back to you soon enough. What is our next one, Andrew? Tell us the next year that we're doing.
I think we should leave that to be a surprise.
It's going to be a surprise, okay?
Yeah, we should never say what's coming up next.
Okay. But we'll be coming up probably another week or so, week and a half.
There's one other thing I just wanted to check it, because in PWI, one of the coolest things were the arena reports.
Oh, you love the arena reports, yeah.
I do love the arena reports. I'll read 2 cities. Give me a city. I'll tell you if they're on here.
I don't know. Toronto.
No, there's only one Canada one. That's the one I was going to do. So give me an American city.
New York.
Yep. So here on, there's no date given, Madison Square Garden, the Islanders won a 12-team, 50,000 tag team battle royal by last eliminating Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy.
Vaguely remember seeing that.
Bret Hart defeated Raymond Rougeau. King Tonga pinned Nikolai Volkov. Greg Valentine defeated Davey Boy Smith. Mike Rotundo and Jim Brunzell battled to a double countout.
Huh.
That's an interesting match. Jacques Rougeau beat the Iron Sheik. The Dynamite Kid beat Jim Neidhart. King Kong Bundy defeated Super Machine. Brutus Beefcake beat Big Brian Blair. The Taunted Kid defeated Moondog Rex. And SD Jones beat Moondog Spot. So it was all tag teams.
That sounds like shit.
What an interesting card.
Why is Taunted Kid wrestled only 3 times?
No, just. Oh wow! Did I say Tonga? No.
Yeah.
King Tonga and Tonga Kid. King Tonga pinned Nikolai. Tonga Kid defeated Moondog Rex.
My bad. Okay.
And then they were both in the Battle Royal. And then another one in Montreal, Quebec at the Forum. Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy defeated Super Machine and Big Machine. Greg Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, and Pat Patterson defeated Armand, Jacques, and Raymond Rougeau.
Interesting.
Dino Bravo defeated Randy Savage by disqualification.
Yeah.
Samoan Sika defeated SD Jones. Coco Beware defeated the Red Demon. King Tonga defeated Harley Race. And the Tonga Kid defeated Frenchie Martin. I love reading Montreal results because it's like they're going to put on a show for the Montreal crowd that they would never do that in Philly or Hartford or wherever.
Very cool. All right, so that is the end of the podcast, everyone. Make sure to subscribe, like, put the notification bell on. There's always new episodes going up. Get comments. You can actually find out if gals are mentioned that with my friend's kid. Love it.
Any type of comments. If you have any, if you want to be rude, if you want to, give some unsolicited advice, if you have any tips, if there's anything that you'd like to see us discuss in an upcoming episode, feel free. We'll be in there discussing it.
We have the halftime side. Like when we go through the awards and we break it up. Give us some ideas, suggestions. We're all about it. It's very cool. All right. But for the time being, I'm going to let everybody go. So take care, everybody. And it was a fun time. See you later, Andrew.
Beautiful plaque. Okay, the first one is Billy Jack. Billy Jack was voted by all you fans all over the world as the most improved wrestler of the year. And I'd like to give him the plaque right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the man who received over 12,000 votes. 12,000 votes as the most popular wrestler of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the plaque, and now here's the man who won it by your choice, the former World Heavyweight Wrestler.